කිසිම අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ.
යාත්‍යන්තර කුමන්ත්‍රණ කාර්යය කියලා බොරුවට ඇඟිල්ල දික් කරනවා.
පොලිසියට බුද්ධි අංශයට තාම බැරි වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ පහර දීපු පුද්ගලයන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your primetime news bulletin. I'm Shayan Silva.
And I'm Punshani Abhidisingha. Let's start off with a look at your headlines.
Investigations continue into the attack on the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission. The International Commission of Jurists calls for an immediate investigation into the attack. And the United Bhikkhu Front to hold a public rally calling for the executive presidency to be abolished.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa told heads of local government institutions to give priority to the needs of the local residents when planning development projects in their respective areas. The president said this during a meeting with local government heads at Temple Trees yesterday.
This meeting was held to obtain the input of local government heads for the 2013 budget. While workers' issues in local government institutions were given special prominence at this meeting, the President had stated that necessary allocations would be made in the upcoming budget in order to resolve these issues. During the meeting, a decision was also made to provide garbage removal trucks to local government institutions by the end of this year in order to resolve the garbage removal issue.
Tonight's developing story, the Local Authorities Special Provisions Bill and the Local Authorities Election Amendment Bill were passed into law in Parliament today without calling for a vote. Both bills were tabled in Parliament today by the subject Minister ALM Ataullah. The United National Party supported the passage of both bills.
And the applicability, within bracket 1, this act may be cited as the local authorities within bracket special provision Act number of 2012 and shall come into operation on such date as the minister may appoint by order published in the Gazette.
පළාත් පාලන ආයතන විශේෂ විධිවිධාන පනත් කෙටුම්පත තුන්වෙනි වර කියවා සංශෝධිත ආකාරයෙන් සම්මත කරන ලද බව දන්වන්න කැමැත්තේ.
The Federation of University Teachers Association of FUTA says that they will arrive at a decision regarding their ongoing strike action tomorrow. FUTA President Dr. Nirmal Ranjit Devasiri said that a decision will be arrived at during an executive committee meeting that is to be held tomorrow. Dr. Devasiri made this statement following discussions that were held at the Ministry of Economic Development last evening.
Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa and a group of university lecturers engaged in the discussion. We thought of issuing a joint media release by both the government and FUTA. This media release is being prepared today. We hope to present the draft to all our member associations. Thereafter, the membership will consider the draft and the letter issued by Dr. P.B. Jayasundara and arrive at a decision. Based on that, we will decide on the trade union action at the executive committee meeting scheduled for Thursday morning. The Federation of University Teachers Association have been carrying out a strike action for more than 3 months. Discussions with Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa to solve the problems faced by lecturers commenced on the 6th of this month. We made inquiries from the Director General of the Ministry of Economic Development, Senior Lecturer Dhamma Disanayaka, regarding the progress of the discussions and the way forward. Following these discussions, the only feeling that we have is that this strike will end. We do not believe that the discussions will fail or collapse or that another crisis will emerge. Through this trade union action, students who are in the higher education system and those who are hoping to get into the higher education system were affected in the short term. So during these discussions, all parties agreed to work towards mitigating the impact. Meanwhile, Minister of Higher Education S.B. Disanayaka stated in Parliament today that a joint statement would be issued tomorrow regarding the university lecturers issue. The minister also said that a joint media briefing would be convened tomorrow. The Treasury Secretary addressed a letter to the President of FUTA dated the 9th of October 2012 as a sequel to their discussions. The lecturers are discussing this letter today. It is our belief that we will be able to hold a joint media briefing with them tomorrow and resolve this conflict. Will you be able to submit all the relevant documents to this house tomorrow?
SSP Prashanta Jayakodi has been reappointed as the police media spokesperson. This is the second time that he has been appointed to the position. It is also notable that SSP Jayakodi completes 25 years of service in the Sri Lanka Police today. He received his primary education at the Kadawatha Mahavidyalaya and secondary education at Thurston College, Colombo. He joined the police in 1987 as a sub-inspector. From 2002 until 2008, Jayakodi served as deputy training director at the Police Academy in Kalutara. He was first appointed to the position of police media spokesperson in 2010 and subsequently left for Haiti on UN peacekeeping duty.
Beheaded and dismembered human corpses recovered from various parts of the island. Most recent incident reported yesterday. A dismembered burnt body found at Zoisa housing complex in Thewa, Taragama. Who is behind this spate of brutal murders? When will steps be taken to rein in thuggery and put an end to the murders?
The Colombo Crimes Division informed court today that a sketch of the individuals who attacked the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission is being prepared based on the statements obtained from him. The Colombo Crimes Division stated that the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission, Manjula Tilakaratne, had not mentioned any individuals or threats he received in his statement.
The police informed court that investigations are being carried out on the data received on the phone calls of Manjula Tilakaratne from the relevant phone companies. Taking the facts into consideration, Mount Lavinia Chief Magistrate Nirosha Fernando ordered the investigations to be expedited and to produce the suspects in court on the 17th along with a detailed report. Although courts did not function properly over the last 2 days in protest over the attack on the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission, the situation was back to normal today. Meanwhile, the International Commission of Jurists says that the Sri Lankan government should take immediate steps to ensure justice with regard to the attack on the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission. The Commission has condemned the attack on Tilakaratne by an unidentified group. The ICJ's Asia Director Sam Zarifi said the attack is another blow to the Sri Lankan judicial system and the rule of law. He emphasizes that the Sri Lankan government should carry out investigations and bring those responsible before the law.
Meanwhile, several lawyers' associations convened a joint media briefing today.
අද වෙනතුරු මේ පිළිබඳව කිසිම අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ.
No arrests have been made so far. Arrests are not made in assault and murder cases only when politics is involved. So, if they have been unable to make arrests in this case so far, then it is because there is a political connection.
මේ වෙන තෙක් ඒකට දේශපාලන සම්බන්ධ වීම නිසායි.
අපි දැක්කා ඊයේ සහ පෙරේදා දෙකේ රජයේ
We saw how yesterday and the day before various government ministers blamed foreign forces, international conspirators and many other people. This shows that the government has some connection to this. This means in any crime where there is direct or indirect government involvement, the finger is pointed at so-called international conspirators without even an investigation being held.
විමර්ශනයක් කරන්න නැතුව යාත්‍යන්තර කුමන්ත්‍රණ කාර්යය කියලා බොරුවට ඇඟිල්ල දික් කරනවා.
එයා ලංකා සභාපතිවරයාව ගේ නිවසට සොරු පැනලා
Thieves broke into the Air Lanka chairman's home and grabbed some items. In that instance, the police captured the thieves within a few hours. But the judiciary, which is one of the pillars that protects the supremacy of the people, has been harmed, and the police and intelligence agencies in the country are still unable to arrest the attackers.
හැබැයි මේ රටේ පොලිසියට බුද්ධි අංශයට තාම බැරි වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ පහර දීපු පුද්ගලයන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න.
A media briefing was convened by Venerable Maduluave Sobitathera as well today to create awareness on the current situation in the judicial system.
අත තිබ්බේ කවුරුවත් අත නොතබන දට අධිකරණයට.
They touched what is usually left untouched, the judiciary. This is a warning to all others. The main issue here is the executive. He is not accountable to parliament, the judiciary, the constitution or the people. Justice cannot be meted out in this country without abolishing the executive presidency. This incident which hurt the judiciary is a consequence of this.
කරන්න බෑ. එසා මේ අධිකරණයේ කෙලෙසීමත් ඒකේ ප්‍රතිඵලයක්.
Views were expressed in this regard in parliament yesterday. A situation should not be created where judges will have to face such issues. On this occasion, as the United National Party, we fully support the decisions taken by the lawyers' unions and the judges' unions in this regard because the independence of the judiciary should be protected.
අපි සම්පූර්ණ සහයෝගය දෙනවා. ඒක දෙන්නේ මේ අධිකරණයේ ස්වාධීනත්වයට ආරක්ෂා කරන්න ඕන නිසා. අපනායනේ.
This is not related to the topic of exports.
අපනායනේ ලබා ගන්න අපිට GSP+ ලබා ගන්න ඕනේ.
In order to promote exports, we need GSP+, and for that we need an independent judiciary.
එතුමාත් විපක්ෂ නායකවරයා හැටියට මොනවා හරි කියන්න ඕනේ.
As the opposition leader, he should say something. He is afraid that if he doesn't make a statement, that he would lose the rest of his parliamentarians. So the opposition leader chose some problem in the country. As a government, we have condemned the attack on the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission. We are ready to face a debate on the key issues in the country.
අපි ඉල්ලුවා අපි කැමති තමුන්නාස රටේ ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රශ්නයක් නම් අපි කැමති විවාදයකට. උසාවි වලට ප්‍රශ්න.
The courts are facing problems. Members of commissions are being attacked.
මම හිතන්නේ අපේ කතානායකතුමාට ෆීල්ඩ් මාර්ෂල් හරි ලෙෆ්ටිනන්ට් ජෙනරල් ටයිටල් එක නෙමෙයි ෆුල් ජෙනරල් ටයිටල් එක දෙන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙවි.
අධිකරණ සේවා කොමිෂන් සභාවේ ලේකම්වරයා පිළිබඳව
Personal attacks on the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission began 2 weeks ago. However, personal attacks launched on him during a breakfast meeting with journalists at President's house. They raised questions regarding his seniority and the procedure followed when appointing him. They also wrote stories ruining his reputation based on a letter sent by a parent through a journalist he knows.
වාතාවරණය සමාජය තුළ ඇති කරන්න උත්සාහ කරා.
Meanwhile, a group of students of the law faculty launched a protest today against the attack on Manjula Tilakaratne. The protest was held this afternoon opposite the law faculty of the University of Colombo.
The police have requested the public to assist in identifying the suspects in the assault on the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission, Manjula Tilakaratne. Police headquarters states that according to the description which was provided on the chief suspect, the artist attached to the Crime Reports Division has drawn a sketch of the suspect.
This is the sketch of the chief suspect. If you know any suspicious individual who has similar features, police headquarters request information to be provided on the following telephone numbers. Senior DIG Western Province, 0777 755 950 or 0112 441147. Director Colombo Crimes Division, 071 777 4400 or 0112 662323. ASP Colombo Crimes Division, 077 66 1137 or 0112 662322. OIC Colombo Crimes Division, 0714 060906 or 0112 662311.